In the crucible of existence, where the soul is tempered by the relentless fires of challenge, there lies a truth as old as the mountains. True strength is born not from comfort, but from the unyielding flame of ruthless self-discipline. Like the legendary Hagane no Ishi, the steel will forged in the forge of unwavering resolve. We too must endure the searing heat of trial and the hammering blows of hardship to become unbreakable. Discipline is the fire that burns away weakness, the forge where spirit and purpose meld into one. To walk the path of the samurai is to embrace this sacred ritual of forging oneself. Through pain, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment, this journey demands a spirit like Shin. Thank you for stepping onto this path with us, for you are part of a community dedicated to forging the spirit that conquers chaos. Mastery of mind is the cornerstone of ruthless self-discipline, for it is within the labyrinth of our thoughts that the battle for control is first waged. The mind, like an untamed river, can either flood the path with chaos or carve a steady course through the toughest terrain. To master the mind means to understand its nature, not as a servant to fleeting emotions or distractions, but as a steadfast commander guiding every action with clarity and purpose. This mastery begins with awareness, recognizing the impulses that arise: fear, doubt, procrastination, and refusing to be swept away by them. It is the deliberate choice to observe these mental storms without surrender, holding firm like a mountain unmoved by the winds. This requires immense discipline, because the mind's natural tendency is toward comfort and ease, but the path of ruthless self-discipline demands we reject that instinct, and instead train our focus like a sharpened blade, cutting through every excuse and hesitation. The process of mastering the mind is not a one-time victory, but a continuous, daily commitment. It is forged in the fire of repetition and resilience, much like a samurai's blade hardened by countless strikes of the hammer. Every moment offers a decision, to yield to distraction or to reclaim control. The mind must be conditioned through consistent practice, meditation, reflection, and deliberate focus, to build mental endurance. This endurance transforms distractions from overwhelming storms into mere passing clouds. When the mind is trained to sustain attention, it creates an inner sanctuary of calm and clarity, allowing the individual to act decisively even under pressure. This sanctuary is essential because ruthless self-discipline is not about blind rigidity, but about harnessing mental energy with precision and intent. Through this mastery, we cultivate the ability to pause before reacting, to choose actions aligned with long-term goals rather than short-term desires, embodying the essence of Bushido, the way of the warrior's honor and self-control. Furthermore, mastery of mind means confronting and reshaping the narratives we tell ourselves, the stories that can either empower or imprison us. Our internal dialogue shapes our reality, forging the limits we believe in or breaking them entirely. To be ruthless in self-discipline is to become the craftsman of these narratives, intentionally replacing self-doubt with conviction, excuses with accountability, and fear with courage. This is the path of Shin, the pure spirit, where clarity and resolve transcend the chaos within. It requires brutal honesty and humility to face one's weaknesses and transform them into strengths. The mind becomes a forge where character is hammered into shape by deliberate thought and unwavering commitment. Mastery here is not about suppressing emotions, but mastering them, channeling their power toward growth rather than destruction. In this way, the mind becomes not a battlefield, but a workshop of creation, crafting a warrior spirit capable of enduring any trial, sustaining focus amidst chaos, and embodying the relentless force of ruthless self-discipline. Unyielding routine is the silent architect of greatness, the unseen framework upon which the fortress of ruthless self-discipline is built. It is not simply about habits or schedules, but about forging a daily ritual so unbreakable that it becomes as natural and inevitable as the rising sun. Like the disciplined strikes of a master swordsman honing his blade through countless repetitions, an unyielding routine shapes the body and mind into instruments of unwavering purpose. This routine is a commitment to consistency, even when motivation wanes, when comfort tempts, or when distractions seek to derail the path. It transforms discipline from a sporadic effort into an automatic force, guiding every step with the quiet power of habit. Within this structure, chaos finds no foothold, and the spirit grows resilient. Tempered by the regularity of deliberate action, the samurai's daily training was not a matter of choice, but a sacred duty, and in the same way, an unyielding routine demands that we honor our commitments to ourselves with the same relentless fervor. Building an unyielding routine requires not only willpower, but also wisdom to design a system that supports the highest priorities. It is the ruthless elimination of anything that dilutes focus or consumes energy without purpose. Every element of the routine, wake times, work periods, rest and reflection, must be intentional, each a link in the chain that binds us to our goals. Yet, this rigidity is not cold or mechanical. It is a dynamic structure that adapts when necessary without sacrificing the core commitment to discipline. The fire of the forge is steady but responsive, capable of shaping steel with precision and strength. Likewise, an unyielding routine fosters flexibility within its framework, allowing progress despite obstacles. When practiced with integrity, this routine becomes a powerful ritual, a daily declaration of intent that fortifies the mind against the temptations of procrastination and distraction. It is in this daily devotion to process that mastery and transformation are born, proving that greatness is not an accident, but the outcome of relentless, purposeful repetition. Moreover, unyielding routine is an expression of honor to oneself and to the path chosen. It is the living embodiment of mujo, the acceptance of impermanence, which teaches that while circumstances change, commitment to one's discipline must remain steadfast. Each repetition, no matter how small, is a brick laid in the fortress of self-restraint, protecting against the erosion of resolve by external chaos or internal doubt. This routine does not promise ease but demands endurance, a willingness to push through fatigue and resistance, knowing that the cumulative effect of these daily actions shapes destiny. In this relentless rhythm, the warrior's spirit awakens, gaining strength through the unbroken chain of effort. The unyielding routine becomes both shield and sword. Shield against the forces that seek to scatter focus, and sword that carves the path forward with precision and power. It is the heartbeat of ruthless self-discipline, a testament that true strength is not born of fleeting inspiration, but forged in the daily fires of unwavering commitment. Pain as teacher is one of the most profound and transformative forces in the journey of ruthless self-discipline, for it is through suffering that the spirit is tempered and sharpened like the finest steel. The path of discipline is never free of hardship. It demands embracing discomfort as an essential guide rather than fleeing from it. Pain strips away illusions, exposing the raw truth beneath complacency and weakness. Like the relentless hammer striking the blade in the forge, pain molds character through its unyielding pressure, revealing where resolve is strong and where it still needs to be forged anew. This brutal honesty forces the warrior to confront limitations, to see failure not as defeat, but as an invaluable lesson etched in fire and blood. To accept pain as a teacher is to shift perspective from victimhood to mastery, recognizing that each wound, each setback, carries the seed of growth, if only one has the courage to learn. Enduring pain with awareness and intent transforms suffering into a powerful catalyst for change, revealing depths of strength previously unknown. It demands a mindset that welcomes challenge as a necessary rite of passage rather than an obstacle to avoid. The samurai understood this truth intimately. Pain was never merely a punishment, but a sacred trial that purified the spirit and prepared it for battle. This concept aligns with the philosophy of Bushido, where endurance and perseverance are revered virtues. When we embrace pain as teacher, we unlock the ability to persist beyond normal limits, to push through fatigue and doubt with the knowledge that every moment of struggle is forging resilience. This process requires fierce determination, for it is far easier to seek comfort than to lean into discomfort. Yet, it is precisely through that leaning in, through the fire of pain, that true transformation occurs, building a foundation of unshakable discipline and inner strength. Moreover, pain, as teacher, demands humility and patience, reminding us that growth is often slow and uneven, carved out in countless small battles rather than sudden victories. It teaches the importance of reflection, of listening closely to the lessons hidden within adversity. Each scar tells a story of survival, adaptation, and renewed purpose. This mindful engagement with pain fosters wisdom, turning suffering into insight rather than despair. It cultivates the spirit of Shin, pure and resilient, where pain is not the enemy but a guide that reveals the path forward. The warrior who honors pain as teacher does not merely endure hardship but transcends it, harnessing its energy to fuel relentless progress. In this way, pain becomes not a chain that binds, but a key that unlocks the door to a higher realm of self-mastery and ruthless discipline, forging a spirit that no adversity can break. Purpose in action is the vital force that ignites the fire of ruthless self-discipline, transforming mere effort into meaningful progress and giving direction to every step taken. Without purpose, discipline risks becoming hollow, a mechanical repetition devoid of soul or lasting impact. Purpose is the beacon that guides the warrior through darkness and doubt, a clear vision that shapes intent and fuels unwavering commitment. Like the precise strike of a katana, purpose focuses energy with deadly accuracy, cutting through distractions and hesitation. It is not enough to simply act. One must act with conviction, driven by a cause greater than fleeting desires or external approval. This deep sense of why breathes life into discipline, turning daily routines into sacred rituals and challenges into opportunities to manifest inner strength. When purpose is fully integrated into action, it creates harmony between intention and movement, forging a powerful momentum that carries the spirit forward even when obstacles loom large. The samurai lived by a code where every deed was aligned with a higher mission, honor, loyalty, and mastery, giving profound meaning to even the most mundane tasks. Purpose transforms hardship into sacrifice with meaning, elevating pain and struggle beyond suffering into a deliberate forging of character. It aligns the heart and mind, ensuring that discipline is not a burdensome chain, but a chosen path walked with pride and clarity. This alignment sharpens focus, enabling the warrior to persist with relentless drive, for purpose is the fuel that stokes the fire of resilience and the foundation upon which enduring strength is built. Moreover, purpose in action demands constant reflection and reaffirmation, for the clarity of purpose can waver amid life's uncertainties. It requires a disciplined mind that regularly returns to its core values and long-term goals, reaffirming the commitment to the path chosen. This is the embodiment of Mujo, the acceptance of impermanence, where the warrior understands that while circumstances shift, purpose remains a steady lodestar. Purpose transforms discipline from a task into a mission, infusing every moment with significance. The warrior who acts with purpose does not merely endure hardship, but channels it toward a vision that transcends the self, cultivating a spirit of relentless determination. In this sacred union of purpose and action, ruthless self-discipline becomes a living art, a force that shapes destiny and carves the path to greatness. Resilience through failure is the bedrock upon which ruthless self-discipline is built, for true strength reveals itself not in moments of triumph, but in how we rise after falling. Failure, often feared and avoided, is in fact the crucible that tempers the spirit and sharpens resolve. Like the tempered steel of a samurai's blade, resilience is forged in the heat of setbacks and tempered by the lessons they impart. Each failure cracks the surface of complacency, exposing hidden weaknesses and areas for growth. To cultivate resilience means to welcome failure not as a final judgment, but as an essential step in the journey of mastery. It demands a mindset that views mistakes not as dead ends, but as signposts, pointing toward deeper understanding and renewed effort. This perspective transforms failure from a source of shame into a powerful teacher, inviting the warrior to persevere with greater wisdom and unshakable determination. Building resilience through failure requires embracing discomfort and uncertainty with courage and humility. The path of ruthless self-discipline is never linear, and setbacks are inevitable obstacles that test the limits of endurance. Yet, it is in those moments of struggle that the spirit reveals its true nature. Whether it will bend and break, or stand firm and grow stronger, the samurai's code, Bushido, honors perseverance and unwavering commitment even in the face of defeat, reminding us that resilience is not mere stubbornness, but a conscious choice to continue fighting despite adversity. This choice cultivates mental toughness and emotional balance, allowing the warrior to respond to failure with calm reflection rather than despair or rage. Through this process, resilience becomes a muscle strengthened by each challenge, preparing the individual to face future trials with greater confidence and grace. Moreover, resilience through failure instills patience and long-term vision, recognizing that mastery is a gradual process, forged through persistent effort over time. It demands the discipline to analyze what went wrong without self-judgment, extracting lessons and applying them with renewed focus. This iterative cycle of failure and growth aligns with the concept of mujo, the impermanence and constant change inherent in life, and teaches the warrior to adapt fluidly without losing sight of their ultimate goal. Resilience transforms the fear of failure into fuel for progress, creating a feedback loop that deepens self-awareness and strengthens resolve. In this relentless pursuit, failure ceases to be a barrier and instead becomes a stepping stone, each setback forging a spirit more disciplined, more tenacious, and ultimately more unstoppable. Eternal vigilance is the unyielding watchtower guarding the fortress of ruthless self-discipline, a state of constant awareness and readiness that prevents complacency from seeping into the soul. Discipline is not a destination but a lifelong journey, and without vigilance, the flames of resolve risk flickering out under the weight of distraction or temptation. Like the samurai standing guard beneath the moonlit sky, eternal vigilance demands alertness in every moment, watching not only the external challenges, but also the internal battles of doubt, fatigue, and temptation that threaten to erode commitment. This relentless watchfulness is not born of fear, but of profound respect for the fragile nature of discipline. It transforms discipline from a passive habit into an active, conscious practice, requiring the warrior to remain awake and engaged in the face of ever-shifting circumstances. To cultivate eternal vigilance, one must develop a keen self-awareness that catches the subtle signs of wavering focus or slipping standards before they grow into destructive patterns. This requires a disciplined mind trained to observe without judgment, noticing when distractions creep in or motivation fades. The samurai's code, steeped in mindfulness and presence, teaches that each moment is an opportunity to reaffirm one's path or be led astray. Vigilance is not an oppressive burden, but a form of self-respect, a daily recommitment to the ideals that shape the warrior's spirit. It demands resilience to resist the seductive pull of comfort and the deceptive ease of shortcuts, understanding that discipline is a delicate flame that must be nurtured continuously. Through this unwavering attentiveness, the warrior fortifies their resolve, ensuring that discipline remains alive and potent, even when external rewards are distant or unseen. Moreover, eternal vigilance is deeply connected to the concept of Shin, the pure spirit, where clarity and presence illuminate every action and decision. It fosters a mindset that is proactive rather than reactive, prepared to face challenges before they overwhelm. This vigilance extends beyond moments of struggle to include the subtle moments of ease when complacency can quietly take root. The warrior who embodies eternal vigilance treats discipline as a sacred trust, guarding it with the same fierce dedication as one would protect life itself. This ceaseless watchfulness builds a fortress of mental and emotional strength, enabling the spirit to remain unshakable amidst chaos and temptation. In this vigilant state, ruthless self-discipline becomes not just a practice, but a way of being, an unbreakable force that guides every thought, word, and deed toward mastery and ultimate freedom. Controlled sacrifice is the deliberate act of relinquishing short-term pleasures and comforts to serve a greater purpose, a fundamental discipline in the art of ruthless self-mastery. It demands a warrior's clarity to distinguish between what must be surrendered and what must be preserved, balancing desire with duty in a constant mindful tension. Like the disciplined samurai who forgoes fleeting indulgences to uphold honor and mastery, controlled sacrifice is not about mindless deprivation, but about intentional choice, choosing the path of hardship today to forge a stronger, more resilient spirit tomorrow. This sacrifice is controlled because it is not reckless or aimless. It is measured, purposeful, and aligned with long-term vision. It transforms the pain of loss into a powerful tool, sharpening focus and deepening commitment, as the warrior learns to endure discomfort with grace and unwavering resolve. The practice of controlled sacrifice requires profound self-awareness and emotional intelligence. It means understanding one's weaknesses and temptations, then setting clear boundaries to prevent them from undermining progress. This is the essence of Hagane no Ishi, the steel will hardened by discipline, where sacrifice becomes a sculptor's chisel, shaping the self with precision. The samurai embraced sacrifice not as punishment, but as a sacred duty to something greater than the self, often subordinating personal desires to the demands of honor, loyalty, and purpose. Similarly, in ruthless self-discipline, controlled sacrifice demands that the individual weigh each choice carefully, sacrificing instant gratification without losing sight of balance and well-being. This discernment prevents burnout and cultivates sustainable strength, ensuring that sacrifice fuels growth rather than depletion. Moreover, controlled sacrifice teaches humility and patience, virtues essential to enduring the long and often grueling journey toward mastery. It requires the warrior to accept discomfort as a necessary companion, recognizing that every sacrifice builds resilience and character over time. This discipline aligns with the philosophy of Mujo, the impermanence and constant flux of life, reminding the warrior that sacrifices made now lay the foundation for future freedom and achievement. Controlled sacrifice is not a one-time act, but a continuous practice, a rhythm of giving up lesser desires to gain greater power and clarity. In mastering this art, the warrior transcends fleeting cravings and shallow comforts, embracing a higher calling that demands focus, strength, and relentless dedication. Through controlled sacrifice, ruthless self-discipline becomes not a burden, but a profound expression of inner sovereignty and purposeful living. Honor in consistency is the sacred bond that ties the warrior to their commitment, a principle as vital as the sword to the samurai's hand. It is the unwavering loyalty to one's own word and actions, a relentless dedication to showing up each day, regardless of circumstance or feeling. In the pursuit of ruthless self-discipline, consistency is not merely a habit, but a code of honor, a promise made to oneself that cannot be broken. Like the steady heartbeat that sustains life, consistent effort fuels progress and builds trust within the spirit, forging an unshakable foundation upon which greatness is constructed. To honor consistency is to respect the process, to value each small, seemingly insignificant act as a vital stroke in the masterpiece of self-mastery. This honor demands courage and humility, for consistency often means persevering through monotony, boredom, and fatigue when motivation wanes and external rewards feel distant or absent. The samurai embraced this truth, understanding that glory is not won in moments of frenzy, but in the quiet discipline of daily practice and steadfast resolve. Consistency cultivates reliability, not only in the eyes of others, but, more importantly, within oneself. It is a reflection of integrity, where actions align with values and intentions without compromise. This sacred alignment creates a feedback loop of trust and confidence, empowering the warrior to face each challenge with calm determination and a steady heart. Through honoring consistency, discipline becomes a living expression of character, rather than a fleeting effort born of passion or circumstance. Furthermore, honor in consistency embodies the timeless wisdom of Mujo, the acceptance of impermanence and the necessity of constant renewal. The warrior recognizes that while progress may ebb and flow, the commitment to remain steadfast must endure beyond transient emotions and external conditions. This perspective transforms discipline into a ritual of respect, a daily act of honoring one's highest self and deepest purpose. It teaches patience, resilience, and the power of incremental growth, where each repeated action is a testament to unwavering dedication. In this way, honor in consistency does not merely sustain discipline, it elevates it to an art form, a sacred dance between intention and action that carves the path to mastery, freedom, and the ultimate realization of one's true potential. As we stand together at the crossroads of choice and commitment, remember that ruthless self-discipline is not a destination reached overnight, but a lifelong journey forged through relentless effort and unwavering resolve. Each pillar we've explored, the mastery of mind, unyielding routine, pain as teacher, purpose in action, resilience through failure, eternal vigilance, controlled sacrifice, and honor in consistency, is a vital link in the chain that binds the warrior's spirit. To embrace these truths is to accept the fires of transformation, to willingly walk through hardship with eyes fixed on the horizon of greatness. The path will challenge you, test your limits, and demand sacrifices. Yet it is through this crucible that the spirit is honed into a force unstoppable. You are no longer merely observers, but active participants in your own forging, part of a brotherhood and sisterhood bound by shared struggle and shared triumph. Carry this flame forward with pride and courage, knowing that every moment of discipline is a victory over chaos and doubt. Let your spirit be like the unbreakable steel, shining bright in the face of adversity. Now, rise, sharpen your resolve, and step boldly onto the path of true mastery. Your journey of ruthless self-discipline has only just begun.